right, folks, we're cutting into that package really quick because we have a tornado warning that has been issued right now. This is back across parts of the eastern panhandle, rolling right along the border there with Maryland. This is a tornado warning stretching right past Pumpkin Center at the moment. You can see that we have that cell right here along this storm, and it's moving right into parts of Jerome back toward Green Ridge. And this is right along the Potomac River between Maryland and West Virginia. A lot of small towns moving right through along the river here. And again, we are continuing to track this tornado warning. Janessa, I don't know if you have any idea with the update on this warning, how long it goes for, and if anything as far as the updates go. We just got this over the air here just a few seconds ago. I'm not sure if we have any of those updates, but I know we are continuing to
I'm looking
track
right now.
this. Yeah, it's moving right across there. Again, this is right along the Potomac River, folks, between Maryland and West Virginia. Little Orleans, that's an exit right off of I-68. This is right along that track here with this tornado-warned cell that just developed here. And again, this just happened within the last 5 minutes. That's how quickly these storms can spin up and create these spin-up tornadoes. And we've seen it before. These things can cause damage rather quickly, no doubt about it here. But again, you want to take shelter if you are along the Potomac River between parts of Allegheny and Morgan County at the moment. Again, places like Green Ridge, this cell is moving right over you at the very moment here, back toward Campbell's, back toward Doe Gully. This is where that cell is tracking. It's moving off to the north and east here with time. And again, it's pretty evident this has a tornado warning with it. Janessa, do you have an update?
Yeah, so we want to get down to ground level. People that are traveling on East Valley Road, just north of Sanford Road, definitely need to be taking shelter. The problem is that this is a transition that's making its way north and east. This entire cell will continue for Doe Gully, Green Ridge. You are definitely seeing a change in the cloud coverage, the torrential rain. You should be at the lowest level in the center of your home. So you should be taking shelter. This is just to the west of you, but it's definitely headed your way. So if I put this in motion, you can see that right now we're not seeing any lapse of the storm, but when you put it in motion, it is traveling a little bit more to the south.
Yeah, it's kind of going along this line. It's almost going due east, it appears here, as we put that into motion. So this is definitely a storm to watch, though, even if you are in some of those same locations that Janessa just mentioned. These cells, they have been a little bit tricky as they've been developing rather rapidly. They're not going to go on that typical trajectory off to the north and east like you may see with tornado-warned cells, but all good points. And as a matter of fact, it looks like the cell moved out of the warning at this point.
It has moved out of the warning area, but you can see Campbell's just north of that, potentially going to go into a tornado warning. You can just see to the south right here. I want to show you there's just a little bit of a hook. For Green Ridge, you're possibly seeing sustained wind damage across that area into the Campbell's area. So look at, as Damon just said, we are out kind of in the clear. I think the National Weather Service will loosen this tornado warning because the cell is completely out of the area. But now we need to really take focus to the leading edge. If you're in Linesburg, you are going to be dealing with damaging wind gusts, possible hail in that area, and even well to the north. So I think the National Weather Service going to be adjusting this situation to a severe thunderstorm warning. But please, if you are in this area of the tornado warning.
They just updated it here, it looks like. Yes, we have a tornado warning expanded now. This goes off to the north and east. So yes, we still have Campbell's right here, right within that tornado warning. If you're in Campbell's over toward Lineburg, you want to take shelter as quickly as you can. Again, interior room of your home, down into the basement if possible. Try to get a helmet or something to protect your head from any flying debris that is out there. And again, we're trying to watch where this couplet is within the storm. It's tough because this is over some higher terrain where the radar may not be able to pick up some of those winds as easily. But again, going out throughout this warning here, Lineburg, as you move right along, back just to the north of Berkeley Springs, and the very edge of this tornado warning does clip into Hancock, back up toward that I-68, I-70 interchange. So that's the line we're continuing to watch for with this storm as it continues to move off to the north and possibly slightly to the east. But again, we're following along with those warning lines, and we're still watching to see what happens moving forward. Janessa?
Damon, you can see there's just a good notch here. There's possibly a tornado on the ground just to the west of Doe Gully, even Little Springs. There's all these notches, so that's where the radar could potentially be indicating possible rotation. Now, even if we don't have a tornado on the ground, we are definitely seeing damaging wind gusts. And right now, if you're in Linesburg, these locations that are well to the west, we're giving you a little bit of time. That's what the National Weather Service, that's why there's an extension of this current box well to the north. So Cohill, Exile, you definitely need to start getting prepared, because this storm system, the ingredients, they're just right. So as Damon said, please be getting down to the lowest level of your home. The best thing you can do for us right now is just listen to the sounds of our voice, get down to the lowest and the lowest part of your home, and just listen to your TV. Do me a favor, if you have a friend, if you're in this neighborhood, you send them a text message. Make sure you have all your devices charged, but please move away from the TV and just listen to the sound of our voice. Tornado warning currently in place just south of Doe Gully, potential tornado that's currently on the ground.
I'm not sure if we could zoom in a lot closer here, probably try to shout out some of these roadways that are moving along. Again, this is an area that's right along the Potomac River, so you have a lot of roads that run right along the river there. So through Little Orleans, back toward their Klein Road. And then you can also see this maintenance road, the railroad maintenance road that runs right along the Potomac River here between Little Orleans and then across the border into West Virginia. That's pretty much where we're picking up on this tornado, possibly on the ground with this cell. If we can slide a little bit off to the north and east potentially, shout out again. There's Linesburg. You're still along that railroad maintenance road right here. That's where this is headed to next. And then we're
So our current tornado warning. There's a tornado on the ground. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We do have severe weather that is rolling across northern Maryland. We have tornado warnings that are currently in place, and that's why we are showing full wall-to-wall coverage. Now, just outside of Campbell's, just north of Hansrot, we saw a little bit of some rotation, also a hook in that area, possible tornado on the ground. Now, the National Weather Service, you can see in this red box, has issued a tornado warning, and it's going to last here until 1 p.m. So I need everyone, just listen to the sound of my voice, get down to the lowest level of your home, stay away from windows. Also going to continue to watch this area just to the north and east, so Linesburg all the way to Hancock's. This storm system is not dying out. just well to the west, we dealt with the tornado warning. And what's happening, it is allowing to get more energy. So these tornado warnings, I'm expecting them to at least go on for at least the next 30 minutes. So Damon, showing you right now, we are dealing with straight line winds and also a possible tornado that's currently on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And we're watching these winds. And we mentioned about hands wrote right there. What we're looking for here within this velocity, you see these greens, the red, that's wind that is going toward and away from the radar that's scanning out to these storms. And when you start to get that red and green coming together, much like we have right here, that is a possible tornado on the ground. This is just the radar picture we're seeing. We don't have ground proof of this, but this is how we indicate whether or not a tornado could be on the ground. And there we go, right there. You can see it in the reflectivity,
right
that little cell right there. That's where that tornado could possibly be on the ground. Again, this just moved past Doe Gully. It's moving off toward the east now. And again, there's State Route 9. State Route 9 in West Virginia. We're going to watch this cell. It's going to come right across State Route 9 here within the next couple of minutes, and then it's going to continue off to the east. This is just south of Great Cacapon. Again, this is where that possible tornado, and this is outside of the tornado warning, folks.
Completely outside of the tornado warning.
Right.
So the National Weather Service, just a little bit late, so that's a little bit of a hook that we're currently seeing. That is a signature that we do have a tornado on the ground. So right now, if you're across State Route 9, possible tornado currently on the ground, even though we're seeing a severe thunderstorm warning currently in place. That purplish color that you're seeing, possible hail core that's associated with this tornado, so you need to be taking shelter. It looks like this storm system is making its way north and east. Now, you're starting to see from our radar barren, things are starting to kind of loosen up, but you're not in the clear. So if you are across State Route 9 into Coal Hill, Burnt Factory, these are all these areas that need to start getting prepared. If you have a friend, family member in these areas, please send them a text message, as we have a major storm system that is just really not loosening up in this area.
No, and along this line, too, we're watching that cell, but you have the tornado warning to the north, and there could also potentially be a spin-up going on in that section of this storm. But we are continuing to watch that main cell that is just south of the tornado warning here, and that's moving toward Berkeley Springs. So if you're in Berkeley Springs, you need to be taking shelter as quickly as you can, as this cell is starting to move your direction. Yes, Berkeley Springs is outside of this tornado warning right now, but that doesn't mean that the rotation is not going to track toward Berkeley Springs. So again, this is our one tornado warned cell that we're continuing to watch as it tracks to the north and east, and we just got the latest radar scan in for the velocity there. Looks like it's at least trying to weaken a little bit, but still, this is a very intense storm, Janessa.
Just starting to break apart a little bit. National Weather Service just updating this tornado warning. This is going to last for parts of West Virginia, northern Maryland, until 1:15. So Berkeley Springs, pretty highly populated area,
right.
So very, very dangerous situation. And it doesn't look from our current radar that we're seeing too much rotation, but there's these notches, and that's what scares me. If you're in Jamestown, Berkeley Springs, just south of Berkeley Springs, on these highways, possible hail in that area. So once again, tornado warning until 1:15 across this area. And slightly good news, it does look like this cell is breaking apart, but the straight line wind damage has been a huge issue from the start of these tornado warnings, and that's going to continue to be an issue. I do want to put on our reflectivity, and you can see even outside of the severe thunderstorm warning, we are seeing straight line wind damage. If you're in Duckwall, possibility for New Hope. But the biggest story, Berkeley Springs, highly populated area. Just listen to the sound of our voices. Keep your TV on. Get to the interior part of your home, and just get prepared. Please put something on your head for protection. Even if you can get to your bathroom, inside your bathtub, because we do have a tornado warning, and that's going to last for at least
I just noticed
20
this
minutes?
right here, just to the north of Burnt Factory. It's not much, but
Yeah,
we
right
have
there.
a little bit, what might be some rotation taking shape there just to the east of X-line. So this is within the tornado warning. This is definitely within that warning now, and we are going to have to watch for this right here. This is just to the east of X-line, to the north a bit of Burnt Factory, and this cell right here is heading over toward Hancock. So it doesn't look like much on radar, so we'll have to keep a close eye on that. It's within the tornado warning, no doubt, so it's something to watch for. But this is also where we've had that little bit of rotation coupled. That is moving into Berkeley Springs right now, crossing Route 522. So again, if you're in Berkeley Springs, Route 522, driving along any of these roadways near Berkeley Springs, try to take shelter immediately. Get a hold of your friends and family out that way and tell them to seek shelter as quick as they can.
This is also across Hancock, just north of Burnt Factory, and not in the tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning. You can see kind of a hook that's forming here, possible tornado warning. I'm expecting the National Weather Service to issue a warning here, and that's U.S. Route 522. So no warning currently in place, but even Duckwall, New Hope, you should be getting prepared for torrential rain, possible spin-up tornado in that area. Really want to focus on Berkeley Springs, just south of that, Berrysville, possible tornado on the ground, even Jamestown to Burnt Factory, where they're just dealing with a severe thunderstorm warning. Expect, though, a potential tornado. Now, let's look at this storm track that is currently coming in. We're seeing 43-mile-per-hour sustained winds, and it looks like we do have a hail core in that.
Right through this middle of the cell, which is right over Berkeley Springs at this moment. So again, at this point, if you're in Berkeley Springs, this is impacting you as we speak, and it's going to continue to move off to the east. Looks like they just expanded out that severe thunderstorm warning at the very least here. That's going to track back through the rest of Washington County and through the rest of Morgan County, it appears here. So no additional tornado warning just yet, but we are still watching this line as it crosses through Route 522 from Hancock to Berkeley Springs. We've had rotation along the very bottom part of this cell going toward Duckwall and New Hope at this point. Berkeley Springs keeping a very close eye there, and Hancock as well, continuing to monitor where that rotation is at. This is a line of thunderstorms that has had a history.
And you can just see the hook that's forming across Route 13.
Yep.
So even though our current radar is not picking up that signal, this has pretty much been almost at the point a long track situation, a long track tornado, because it's gone through about 4 counties right now. But what you need to be aware of, that's a new scan across New Hope. So tornado warning has just expired. Tornado warning has just expired, but currently making its way across Berkeley Springs to New Hope. A Burnt Factory still dealing with damaging wind gusts, potentially from our Barron's radar saying at least up to 60 miles per hour. So you still need to be at the interior part of your home. We are not fully in the clear yet because damaging wind gusts could potentially be as strong as a tornado. So I want you to stay there if you're across these areas for at least the next 10 minutes, please, across Berkeley Springs, very highly populated area. Stay down in the interior sections of your home, and even across, I'm just hoping we didn't have a lot of cars across 522 because that storm system just completely going across that area. Even State Route 9 currently dealing with it, but almost in the clear, but not just quite across Berkeley Springs, just to the north of that, which is still dealing with the severe thunderstorm warning. It does look like National Weather Service has issued that until 1:45. So, you know, Damon, what's happening here is the ingredients. They're just right. The dew points, the temperatures, the moisture is currently in place. And so I want everyone to be weather alert all day because we're seeing the moisture that's allowing these storms to really spin up.
Exactly. All those ingredients are lining up. The moisture, the spin in the atmosphere, the heat, what these storms need to develop and stay intense as we move along. So, again, yes, if you're along this line through Hancock all the way down to New Hope and Duckwall, still stay sheltered until this storm passes by. Even if there's no tornado warnings, which there is not at the moment, this is still producing very strong straight line winds, and this is continuing to track to the east, so it's moving back off toward parts of Washington County now, back toward Big Pool, Clear Spring, and eventually it's going to get closer to the Hagerstown area. So again, overall, we do not have a tornado warning that we're dealing with. Still a straight line wind threat with the severe thunderstorm warning. So as of right now, it stands no current tornado warnings that we're continuing to watch for. So at the moment, we're going to go ahead and go back to regularly scheduled programming, but we're going to continue to watch. If another tornado warning pops off, we will be here and we will give you all of the latest updates with this severe weather situation. So please stay weather aware, stay with us. We'll continue to give you updates as we go through the rest of the afternoon.